It's only entertainment.
Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your Cannabis Business Podcast.
All right, so we're here at day one, MJ BizCon with Kim Stuck of Allay. Kim, tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe how you got into the industry and why you're at MJ BizCon.
Yeah, so I originally started in the industry on kind of accident, but I was actually a regulator. So I started as a wholesale food and restaurant health inspector in Denver County when it became recreationally legal. And so I kind of adopted or got pushed into the cannabis space because of that. So I was the first cannabis regulator in the nation for a public health authority.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so unpack that a little bit. There's a lot of regulations, right? So the producers and processors, retailers, not ancillary so much, but the regulations go by state to state.
Yes.
So how does that work if you have clients out of state? Do you have different protocols? What's your standard operating procedures for implementing compliance for all of those various levels?
Yeah, so the state regulations are some of the ones that we work with, obviously. We work in all 50 states. We even work in Canada, Mexico, Israel, South Africa. Most of our clients are thinking forward. So state regulations are not the only regulations they're concerned about. Okay. They're thinking federal. Okay. So we do FDA, OSHA, fire code, like all of those bigger regulations that they're going to have to be compliant with and are just not maybe there yet. So
when will they be there? So I worked with a farmer in Vancouver, Washington about 6 years ago. NIOSH came to the farm. They looked at trimming, they looked at joint rolling, they looked at all of these repetitive, tennis elbow or whatever.
Yeah.
So is that kind of what we're talking about, is how you reduce repetitive injuries and things of that nature, just like normal, everyday? Are we normalizing cannabis? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, so definitely that kind of stuff, but OSHA really focuses more on like injuries that can happen while you're working.
Okay.
So ladders in like grow facilities, slip, trip, and falls, like those kinds of things, along with reporting, right? So there's a lot of documentation, emergency action plans, and that kind of thing that need to be in place that your employees are trained on every year in order to be compliant with OSHA. So there's a whole lot more that people don't really get yet, and they haven't really understood because they haven't actually been regulated by those agencies. And we kind of help them get into compliance with those agencies before they start knocking on the door.
Are you seeing any difference with the emerging markets being like Arizona or New Jersey versus like the established markets, Washington or Nevada? Are you seeing people maybe more hesitant in emerging markets, or are they more prone to try to become normalized? Like what is the adoption rate for emerging versus existing markets?
Right, so in Colorado back in the day when I was there, obviously that was kind of slow growth, right? Nobody really knew what they needed to do. They weren't thinking about the future, they were thinking about today. Like, I just want to get through today. Can I get through today? Nowadays, people who are investing in cannabis now are thinking, I want to be here in 20 years, 30 years, those kinds of things. And so now it's actually, emerging markets such as New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, all of it, Michigan, all of them are more concerned with compliance because they see the bigger picture. They're going, hey, we saw how Colorado did it, we saw how Oregon did it, now we're trying to make it bigger and better.
Okay.
So it's great.
What's your pitch for why somebody should care? There's, I worked in banking, so I'm heavily regulated industry, more than even cannabis right now.
Yeah.
So why, I understand it, but for those that are maybe coming in and they see compliance or whatever, and they're like, I don't need to do more paperwork. What's the benefit to it? Like, is it going to help with investor capital? Is it going to help them with their operations? I mean, why go through this process?
Yeah, actually both of those. And we take the paperwork off of your desk, right? So that's one of the things that we do at Allay, is deal with that so that you don't have to. And then we train your staff to make sure that they understand it as well as we do. So that alone is really great. It keeps employee retention. It makes sure that people who are looking to buy or looking to invest in your company, it's risk mitigation, straight up. Like, it's all about food safety and making sure that people are safe when they're consuming your product. And then on top of that, making sure that your workers are safe. So it's really awesome, and that's one of like big benefits is risk mitigation. So investors love us.
There's a lot of investors at MJ BizCon. It's a 3-day event. It's the world's largest cannabis conference. Why are you here? What are you looking to get out of it? What's going to be your biggest takeaway?
Well, I'm here because it's a really good time, and secondly, I'm speaking twice, so I couldn't really turn it down, right? But
what are you talking about?
So the first day, which is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., I'm speaking about how to build a CBD brand, which is really great. I'm going to be on a panel with a number of CBD brands, and it'll be wonderful.
Can you give us a hint? Because what's the difference between CBD companies? If you're selling salt and somebody else is selling salt, what's your differentiator? Can you give us a little hint about what your topic is?
Honestly, I'm going to be talking about compliance. Being GMP certified is the best thing that you can do as a CBD brand right now. It really makes you stand out and makes investors and people who are going to buy your company really like hone in on that, because it's risk mitigation, right? Anybody who's giving you money wants to mitigate risk. So
no one's going to look at you for European imports or Canadian imports unless you have that. So you're going to be talking about how to do that tomorrow. What time?
At 9 a.m.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this is going to post afterwards, but maybe they could go to the site and find that talk and watch that.
Absolutely, I'll be posting it.
And what's your other talk about?
The other one is just cannabis in the West. It's actually, we're just going to talk about new regulations in Oregon that just came through, California, how they just merged all of their regulations and how that's going. And we're just going to talk about how it's going in the West, because obviously that was kind of where it started. So.
That sounds interesting. I could talk to you for 15 more minutes about that, because you have California direct sales.
Yes.
You have Nevada lounges. You've got some states that are talking about caps on concentrate, which basically eliminate that category.
Yeah,
so
which is crazy.
Lots of regulations, and how do you operate when you constantly have your head up your ass trying to figure out what the regulators are going to do. So you need professionals like you to kind of help navigate and direct people. If people are interested in what you're doing, where can they find you at? Where do you want online, social media, email, all that? Yeah,
so they can find me on LinkedIn, Kim Stuck on LinkedIn. But also www.allay consulting.com is our website, so feel free to go check it out.
Kim Stuck at Allay. We're here day one, MJ BizCon. All right, with that, I'm Josh Kincaid. This is The Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out.
Awesome.
Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.